한 이쯤?
아, 그건 아닌 것 같아.
오케이, 오케이. 오케이, 여기로 가고. We will pick this. I don't say anything.
Вот такие получились у нас предикты.
Возможно, мы были неправы, и команда на деле кажется сильнее, чем мы думали.
또 여러분들도 좀 많은 예측과 기대를 좀 해주시고 다들
Давай.
تعبنا بس بالاخير ما حصلنا النتيجه اللي ردناها.
My first PMGC taught me a lot about myself, the pressure, the nerve, the mistake you can make only on war stage. Now I'm here with a new roster, but my goal is still the same, to perform the way I know I can, to play with clarity, confidence and discipline.
A gente está aqui para jogar e ser feliz e buscar o topo. Sim, a gente está ainda mais confiante. Eu acredito que a PMGC vai ser a melhor de todos os tempos da Influence Age.
أنا واثق من نفسي هواي، واثق من تيمي هواي أيضاً، ونتأمل ناخذ توب 1.
Perjalanan PMGC kita orang pada tahun 2024 boleh dikatakan sangat teruk. Kami langsung tak berjaya untuk lepas ke next stage. Tapi 2025 akan berbeza. Saya tak akan biarkan kesilapan yang sama berlaku dua kali.
It's not my fault, but I always come back.
Don't get it twisted. Our talent was never the problem.
Bom, este ano voltamos com mais fome, mais disciplina e com a mentalidade bem mais clara. Acredito que este é o nosso momento.
Saya tak nak orang lain ingat, tim Malaysia ni datang untuk bercuti je. Tapi saya nak diorang tahu yang kita orang boleh bagi saingan terbaik untuk tim-tim global.
Son iki maçta kalp krizi geçirmiş olabilirim galiba.
Alo. Anneciğim ne yapıyorsun?
Anneciğim. İyiyim bebeğim. Sen ne yapıyorsun?
İyi, ben de çok iyiyim valla. Maçları izledin mi?
Oo izlemem olur mu? Kalp krizleri geçirdim ben burada. Bana ikiye çıktınız, ikinci oldunuz, geri üçe düştünüz, geri ikiye çıktınız. Ben kalp krizi geçiriyordum yani o sıra. Neyse mutluyum annem. O da diyorum ya, 3 gün formayla takıldı.
Vallahi.
3 gün formayla gezdim iş yerinde. Görmüyor musun? Resim atıyor ya iş formada.
İş yerinde de formayla yani şey yaptın değil mi? Formayla gittin.
Evet, evet.
İyi, sen ne yapıyorsun?
İyiyim anneciğim. Özledim seni, sadece seni özledim.
Ben de seni özledim valla.
Aradım akşam, bakmadım hayırlı olsun demek için.
Uyumuşum, bir de uyuyakalmışım.
Ben de dedim kutlamaya mı gittiler, ne yaptılar?
Öyle işte.
Tamam anneciğim.
Tamam.
Seni seviyorum, öpüyorum.
Ben de seni seviyorum, öptüm hadi.
Hadi arkadaşlarına çok çok selam söyle.
Aleykümselam.
Yok annem, canın sağlığı. Bunları da tebrik ettiğimi söyle, ilet hepsine tek tek.
Tamam, aleykümselam. Onların da selamı var sana.
Tamam, aleykümselam anneciğim, hadi görüşürüz.
Hadi görüşürüz, öptüm, bay bay.
The action continues as Group Red is ready to take the stage at the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2025. 16 squads are ready to face each other and their destiny. I'm your stage host, the 7WG. Over the next 3 days, dreams will be made or be broken depending on where they end up in the leaderboard, because we will have 3 squads going directly to the Grand Finals. 5 will be going home, and 8 will get one last chance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 1 of Group Red. It's time for these squads to show if they got what it takes to make it to the PMGC Grand Finals.
That's right, you heard the man. The gauntlet is over. Group Green is done, and now we are in Group Red, which means it's time to pull out all the stops. It's your last chance to make it into the finals. I'm your host, Hot Jukes, here with Maxman and Neptura. We have been covering this since the beginning. Max, the final part of the group stage is here. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Group Green was absolute cinema, and I think Group Red is going to be very close to that one, Hot Jukes, and we've got so many big squads here that, again, picking 3 teams to qualify, it's not easy. So unfortunately, we'll have to say goodbye to some big names here for the next 3 days.
That's for sure. As a matter of fact, we tried to, just the other day on trying to do a little tier list, and it was quite difficult because, man, Group Green definitely surprised us. As we break down the schedule here, you can see the dates. We're going to have 3 days of Group Red, Neptura, 1 day off, and then Last Chance begins.
Yeah, it does indeed. And yeah, I mean, when you go to the last chance, it gets even harder, right? Because not only, it's not top 3 anymore once you get past group stage, it's top 2. So time and time again, we keep saying this group stage, the gauntlet was your best shot. Now the group stage is going to be your better shot. You don't want to get into last chance and leave it all up to just getting top 2. It's so difficult, especially seeing how we've seen Group Green, right? These teams have been insane over the last 3 days in Group Green. Group Red, I expect it's going to be no different. So this is going to be really tough for the next few days.
What you're saying is you have to be top 2. Also keep in mind, it's not just bottom 5 that get eliminated. If you're not in top 2, you're done.
Everyone's eliminated.
So done after last chance. So last chance is going to be brutal. So you want to qualify now if you can, because otherwise I think it's going to be hectic going into the last chance here, Hot Jukes.
That's right. These were the participating teams from the different various regions. We're here in Group Red, though. We got some new teams joining the fray, Maxman, right? Which team do you think you are most excited to see finally step foot here on the battlegrounds?
I mean, I'm looking for Weibo. I feel like Weibo is going to be a big contender here for one of those top 3 positions. I mean, looking at Suk, you know, cursed with the 2nd place, which would be enough, right, Neptura? 2nd place, Suk, he'd love to be cursed this time around. With, of course, Order, the back-to-back PMGC winner from a few years ago. But 33Z also stepping up massively back during PMWC. So for me, Weibo here are the highest chance we could see China maybe win the entirety of PMGC. But that's alongside Thunder Talk, so China are looking really good this year.
Yeah, they definitely are. I'm looking super forward to Rondo as well, in particular, right? We've been talking about Suk with his explosive bow. Add that to terraforming on Rondo. I'm so excited to see how they're going to be performing here, Jukes.
Yeah, because Rondo has just been such, I think, a shock to the system, right? Of this whole entire rotation. We start off in it. You got, you know, those recall towers, and I definitely noticed, Maxman, with that aggression and that you know, whole tactic being put into play here, it's just a huge chance for teams to soak up eliminations off the rip, right?
Yeah, I mean, from the get-go, you're just like, well, we can just do that typical 3-1 splits. I know that you made a video about it recently, right, Neptura, talking about the importance of recall towers, and they're just so meta-defining on this map. I love it. And the meta on Rondo is just so different from the 2 other maps that, for me, I'm really always looking forward to the first game because it's so different and it feels just so refreshing here in PUBG Mobile Esport.
Yes, it is indeed. Well, we're about to get this whole thing kicked off, guys. Why don't we go ahead and take it back to the stage with the 7WG to introduce all these squads and players that are going to be playing here in Group Red.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you the teams from Group Red. From China, Weibo Gaming. Nuclear Zone Esports from Egypt. From Iraq, Twisted Minds. Boars Gaming representing Czech Republic. Arc Red from Uzbekistan. Representing Vietnam, Team Flash. Burmese goals from Myanmar. From India, Infinix True Rippers. GK Esports from Saudi Arabia. DRX representing South Korea. From South Africa, ETSH Esports. E-Arena from Thailand. from Brazil, Influence Rage. Virtus Pro, representing Central Asia. The pride of Turkey, Regnum Karya Esport. Alliance from Malaysia. Here are the teams from Group Red, and every player knows what's at stake. Who will crack under the pressure and who will shine through to the PMGC Grand Finals? The action of Group Red Day 1 starts now.
And there we go. There you have it. Those are the teams that are going to be playing today here for Group Red. Now, Neptura, right? We got a whole bunch of new teams that are coming into the fray. And of course, they're all going to be playing on the Infinix GT30 series, the official gaming phone of PMGC 2025. Engineered for precision, performance, and victory, empowering every gamer to hashtag be the one and hashtag outplay the rest on the global stage, right? Well, we got those new squads, but we also got some OGs coming into this from the Gauntlet, Neptura. Which team do you really want to see, right? Kind of pull out that performance that we saw from Group Green from Alpha Gaming.
The biggest one for me, Jukes, has got to be Regnum Karya. Come on.
Yeah.
They almost won PMGC 2024, but they lost by 2 points. They were this close, right? And to have them here, they didn't make it through Gauntlet. We didn't really see the same sort of team that we were expecting, but they have this second chance. They've got 3 spaces that they need to grab, or one of the 3 spaces, not all 3, that, you know, don't get too greedy, just one will do to get to finals. I really need to see something. We saw a tiny bit of something in Gauntlet. I just need to see so much more from them, and I know they can do it. I'm definitely looking to them.
You know, at least they're not in D+'s group, so that was definitely a good dodge. Too much drama in that group, otherwise it would have been hot, Jukes, but they do make it up. But yeah, Regnum Karya, a big favorite, alongside, of course, DRX, right? That's the team that I thought was going to make it directly out of the Gauntlet stage, but they're back here in relegation hole, Jukes, in this Group Red. So also DRX would have to be a clear favorite. Do we need to see make it to the finals at some way or in this tournament?
Well, let's see if they can do it here, guys. We got Rondo, first match up for the day. Let's see how some of these teams, right, that are coming in here for the first time are going to compete against those Gauntlet teams, because during Group Green, Alpha Gaming showed up and showed out. Well, let's get match number 1 started. We got our casters, John Allen and Blank. Take it away, guys.
I'm only too happy to take it away. We've got 2 planes in the sky for Rondo to kick off Group Red. We're heading in for the mayhem of the early game here, as the first match will indeed start now. Right here, right now, we are ready to kick things off.
In a big way, with the double plane path, like you're saying, a very little awkward one to start things off. Does create some interesting aspects in terms of where people are dropping here. So it's a little bit harder to get a grasp of things here on day one for Rondo, especially for teams. I think most teams would prefer the singular plane path day one personally, just so they can realize exactly where people are dropping. This throws a spanner into the mix, right? It really does change up where a lot of players are heading off to. But to start with, looks like there's a fair few teams heading towards test track as well as Neox. This is a lot of players in the area.
Ooh, okay. There's a lot of, well, everything is popping off here as well. We got a hot drop already on our screens. There's scrapping going on through. Of course, not as deadly as it once was with those recall towers on board. Remember that you can get your teammates back up by getting to those recall towers, and that's what a lot of teams have been investing in right now. Arc scrapping back and forth with VP versus Pro. Oh, can't get an aid in through there. Easy for Bad Boy. Steps out though, and the spray is still good. Swaps to the micro Uzi for it, and Arc are running rings around VP. This is a great start for them. I'm still wondering what's happening over in Test Track though, because that did look pretty hot.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams in there. For Arcred, an interesting start there. I'm kind of sad that we saw Easy for Bad Boy with the very first nade that he throws here at the PMGC, because Easy for Bad Boy is actually an insane player. He actually is insane. I think Arcred a bit of an upstart from their region, doing some pretty fantastical stuff already versus VP, who are a significantly potent squad. Alliance, though, you got Jimmy, Cluck, Iftar, Olio as well. All names that people should be very, very familiar with. I'm most familiar with Jimmy John. Great player.
Yeah, he's always happy to contribute to the points tallies. Hopefully he can make Alliance's dreams come true as they kick off the fight. Arena from the Gauntlet Stage, with Alliance breathing down their neck now. A little bit of a grudge match coming on through as Tony K steps in. He's got the pump action. Got the rifle at his back as well. Spots a player jumping straight up into the border and immediately flicks to the right. Shot to the gut and he's down almost immediately there. Knocks it over towards Jimmy as well in the meantime. This is a good start for Arena on their engagement. Earn a couple of points. Snuffle those ones away, but Alliance should be able to get themselves back up. Tony K, he's burning. He's a man on fire right now, and he will go down. It's actually 2 Cluck, who's still alive on that top floor. Sakura joins him on the upstairs, but doesn't have the angle. Steps down, and the spray is good for another. I wonder if he's got any healing to keep himself alive on this one with, but Arena may be worrying a little bit more than they once were.
Nice plays, though. Running rings around this team at the moment. Sakura going to go for the res now. Cluck looking to drop a smoke, potentially. Actually going downstairs. Going to see if he can grab them on the stairway. In fact, he's just going to start looting. Respect. Okay, you know, he's got priorities correct here. Get the loot on board. The elims can come later.
I mean, grab a first aid, grab anything, grab any healing you can. It's good news, but there's the shotgun shell. Sakura eats the bullets and spits them back out. Goodness me, just about staying alive. Those 5 bandages. Feeling mighty good right about now. Unfortunately, it felt like that was a full-on 1v3 there, but didn't happen. And now Olio, he's on the road, finding a recall beacon.
I mean, it's the first time in a while we've seen like a drop shot that actually tricked me as well. I thought he was knocked when he dropped down to the floor. No, just down to 10% HP. Okay, cheeky. A lot of pretty brutal EMP zones right now. There's an EMP zone over towards test track, which is sort of hindering the escape right now for some of our teams. Still stage 1, about 3 minutes remaining. So they have a lot of time to get out of here. On the other side of things, though, you have an EMP towards the center of the zone around where Weibo's playing. It seems the EMP zone is determined to ruin the chances for Chinese squads.
They disappear, though. They're out of the way. Allow us a little bit more breathing room here. Is still around the test track. Rectum Kaya. And they're not going to find it. And immediately, they're out of there. It's going time. They knew about it. There is another EMP zone out to the west that's just about to spawn as well, Blank. So could not be more timely.
Yeah, get yourself out of here nice and quick. Respect that from True Rippers. Just want to remove yourself from test track. I think at this point in time, you know, you didn't find the elims. That's okay. Move down towards the southwest side. But Weibo's got a very, very central position. I know that there's quite a few fans out there looking for a strong performance from this team. They do have some of the most shiny names on side. And arguably the best player of all time on the team order. Just from experience and statistics alone.
Wow. That's a big call.
I said arguably the best player of all time.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think he is obviously a phenomenal player. But if he's so good, why wasn't he in the Gauntlet? Why didn't he get through that way, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Thunder Talk were pretty damn good, let's be honest. So, yeah, can't blame him too much.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Ooh, True Rippers lose the player. But remember, those recall beacons are still there. And, I mean, at least one of True Rippers is absolutely very far away on the north side. The majority of the team, sure, they're sending towards the middle of the circle right now, but Jelly up on that north side, north of Jahan, actually, a very, very long way away, almost 3 kilometers away from this rotate that we're seeing, we'll be able to get those recalls on.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad play, to be honest with you. I think splitting off here between two sides. I mean, you were late to the circle anyway, because you were locked into test track because of that EMP. So you get a 2-2 going. That's fine. It's going to be slightly more difficult to regroup later, I would definitely presume, but still possible. We saw another... honestly, really cool names in it.
Not what it takes to make it to the PMGC.
Be the one.
It's looking pretty stylish right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about famous players. We keep talking about them, right? It's Silas. It's the rest of Regnum Kaya as well. These guys did not perform in Gauntlet.
Silas and the rest.
Yeah, well, I mean, look. He definitely, in terms of accolades, he stands head and shoulders above the rest of them. They are all still very decorated, but it is definitely, you know, he's in a different strata when it comes to that. But they absolutely dropped the ball back in the Gauntlet stage. We were very disappointed with them. We were looking at them as being one of those top teams making it through direct to the Grand Finals, but no, they have to go and duke it out here in Group Red, and maybe they'll get one of the top 3, or maybe they'll have to join the Falcons over in Last Chance and keep them company there. For now, they have a central position, and hopefully they can do something with it this time around in the group stages.
Yeah, I think for Regnum Kaya, there was definitely a bit of an issue where just taking down the NPCs. It's fine. I thought it was slightly more dangerous. He was taking quite a bit of damage from it. And I was like, come on, this is kind of ridiculous. But we're fine. We're fine. We're just grabbing all the loot we can from that position.
That's fair, you know. Grab it while it's hot. Grab it while it's out of arm's reach of pretty much everyone else. Everyone already condensed to this next circle, pretty much. There's only a couple of dribs and drabs left to go on through. We've seen a lot of elims start to add onto the tab. Actually, I say a lot of elims. Kind of for Rondo, this isn't as many as we've seen in the past, certainly, right? What is that? You've got 9 elims earned so far. I feel like we've seen bigger tallies before these recall beacons shut off. There is still a little bit of time before they shut off, but yeah, that's maybe quieter than I was led to believe by what's happened so far.
Yeah, I mean, both of them being on the side, kind of making the zone look like a Mickey Mouse right now a little bit. Do you see it? Do you see
I
it?
see it. You guys at home can see it as well if you open the map feed, which is on the YouTube channel.
It's gone.
You missed it.
You did miss it. We had a Mickey Mouse circle. It is getting a little bit Mickey towards the center right now with True Rippers, BG, as well as Regnum Kaya all on top of one another. Slightly weird circle down towards Hongshan, where you do have a lot of this terrain that you got to pass through. And then towards the north side of Rinjiang, like a little bit of area with buildings, etc., to push on by. It's tough, definitely tough.
Yes. A little bit unfamiliar terrain as well for a lot of these teams, right? Sure, they'll have played it a bunch, but nowhere near as much as on Erangel, on Miramar. It'll be a little bit less familiar, and with this new lobby, with the new setup, it's going to be even harder. Maybe the Gauntlet teams will be afforded an advantage because of that as well.
Yeah.
And having a little bit more experience with the global state of Rondo.
Speaking about things that are new, just want to quickly remind everyone that we do have a you're cruel production. We do have a slightly different graphic on the right side of our screen there in terms of the leaderboard. Instead of the eliminations popping up from time to time, we have decided to change that where they are visible at all times, so you guys get a clear idea of who's doing well in these games. But as those eliminations go through, they will be immediately added to the points total, so you won't have to worry about adding anything up. It'll be right there in front of your eyes.
I believe as well, when a team gets eliminated, those placement points will also get added to their points tally immediately. So if you see someone going down in third and leapfrogging someone who's still alive, you're like, hang on, they've got more placements guaranteed. It's because they haven't been added yet. What's going on? Versus Pro. We're going to add a couple of points to their tally with a roll up to E-Arena right now. 2 cars slam into the side of the rock, and Joker backs off. Tony K on the back line, looking to hold it down, but Aragon's got the MG3. Ooh, is going to be backed off, though. I think he had the pin on the nade, and Joker's got an MG3 of his own.
We'll back off this one. This is always a curious part of the map as well. Playing around this area, a little bit hard to leave from because the third parties can come through thick and fast. Fajita able to take down Jimmy from Alliance, but you got Iftar and Olio underneath, but he's still going strong though from this balcony.
Oh, the Molotov, though, on the wood as well. There's no way there's no way. Surely the spread gets him there. Okay, yeah, he's out of position. Will have to move. Surely he's not going to be able to get the healing done. He's still alive, but spotted by Jimmy. Oh, no, hang on a minute. It's by Iftar. Jimmy's dealing with the rest of his team, and they will go down. Our first team to get eliminated here in Group Red, and maybe First Pro will be not too long for it either. E-Arena as well. Good find a nade sent their way, and they're going to try their best to dodge them. One on the trades, and there's another one. Oscon in the smoke, moving forwards, getting the flush as well. And NC2 nowhere to be seen. Sakura from up on high can only watch on as his teammates get obliterated.
I mean, I was hoping for a little bit more out of E-Arena there. That looked like a much better fight. That's some great names. So there we go. That's a big thumbs up to Sakura there. But yeah, that looked like a much better fight. But falling down to a player basically crawling through the smoke in the front lines, a little bit concerning. I definitely want to see more of E-Arena. There's a lot of talk online about how this team has a lot of strength in them and they can push further into this tournament. But again, there is quite a few other squads here inside this lobby who all are deserving of a top 3. And I think the way that E-Arena played in their portion of the tournament earlier on was a little bit lackluster.
Not as powerful as they needed to be. DK as well. They really suffered over in the Gauntlet stages. And now here they are in Group Red just about. But not having a good time here either against the South Africans right now. They are just down to 1 player. But it's not going well for either of these 2 squads. They have both taken heavy casualties, and they're not in this next zone. They do still have an option to go for a recall beacon down to the south side. I think that's a little bit more accessible for ETSH, but only for the next few minutes, Blank. The time is ticking away.
Yeah, Reverb's going to send out as well. Both teams rotating side by side. That's cool and all. Getting... Damn, the quick switch. That's dirty. Okay, for Influence Rage, on the other hand, knocking your own player with the old emergency cover flares. It's not ideal and doesn't look as cool. Okay, it's still a knock, which is fun. But yeah, that's not the idea that we wanted to see happen in game.
It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Something we saw during the Gauntlet stage, though, was the development of the use of these cover flares, right? The use of that cover that was deployed in the open battlegrounds in those later circles really started to actually have a bigger impact than we've seen when you look back towards the regional stages, the qualifiers for PMGC. So it's potentially going to continue to develop here in Group Red. Group Green as well, use their fair share of them. As True Rippers try and rock up and immediately are just obliterated on the approach by everybody. Well, it seems actually mostly by Influence Rage, but there are a lot of other teams taking shots out their way. That was not a super great kickoff for True Rippers.
I think they got slightly cut off on either side. Couldn't really do too much off the back of it. And then struggling to find the center of the circle there. But they gave it a good crack towards that south side. Not meant to be. Circle moves up. We do have a fielded area here, and it's for quite a few teams that have to pass through it. Particularly Regnum Kai. I'm kind of worried for their position, but they do find a shot over towards Havlik from Boars, and I think Havlik's a great player to remove from that team if you're going to be fighting them soon, because Havlik is a fantastic player when it comes to finding those sneaky angles. So removing him is really big, and these are some great shots assisted by DRX.
Oh dear, Boars just getting roasted out in the open there. On the open campfire. I mean, this is a team that, to be honest, Blank, I'm not expecting great things from, right? Boars came into this one. They didn't even qualify for the finals of their region. They came through on points from, I think it was, I can't remember which part of Europe it was, but one of the points tables there, they were basically uncontested on it because they were the only team that had played in both the spring and the fall season. For me, Boars have a lot to prove. And it's just not coming through, certainly in this first match. Maybe they'll have something more to say later.
My God, dude, it's like game one. You're already ripping them to pieces.
Hey, man, they did it to themselves, you know?
That's bad to even me. Even for my standards, that's bad. Can't be doing that. But I agree, Boss are really not great.
Like, am I wrong? I don't think so. They're going to be shaky at best, I think. Good to get the experience on board, right? Maybe, but I think this is a 15th or 16th place team.
Yeah, I think for Boars, they do have good players on side. It's a little bit sad for me watching that team because there's a lot of names that I recognize on that squad and have casted for many years. For instance, Havlik has been bouncing around multiple teams and has always found success on there. But at the moment, even Cause is actually quite a good player. Cause is quite a good player, but yeah, I think Boars just they don't have the full package, and a lot of teams here at PMGC they already have the full package in terms of the rotations, the team fight macro, the gun skill, and I think Boars is lacking in some of those areas.
Ooh, Alliance playing around those cover flares as well. Zarkred looking to get past them. Not going to be so easy for Bad Boy. He will be taken down and flushed. Those recall beacons no longer in action. Not that any of them would really be accessible at this point anyway. So we'll have to play on with 3 for them for the time being. Regnum Kai on the south side, not too much to work with. And they have to keep pushing across this open area towards that E-Arena dominant high ground you can see in the background there.
Yeah, for E-Arena, they got the 4th player back up as well, so they're currently playing as 4. Budget Tony K, maybe not this game. He's been doing very, very well at the moment. I think Tony K's been playing that early game quite strongly and then transitioning well into the late game for E-Arena. Some great nades from Sakura. He just was confident in his position. Weibo, though, up against FL. As the nades start to fly on through, and this is one thing that Weibo has always been fantastic at, is placing these nades and ending fights before you even get to the point where you need to start shooting.
Regnum Kai as well on that south side, taking a fight in the picture-in-picture. If you guys want to keep up to date with that, take a look over there. But Weibo still going in for this fight, keeping the pressure up. Man of the hour, Order. You said you want to see a lot from him. He's jumping up, he's hopping around, but it's the nades coming on through. The hero who's able to land that extra knock and keep this pressure up against Team Flash. as an answer, but again, it's not going to quite connect. Order does go down, though, and they still have barrels pointed their way. Arcred circling this one, wanting the third party. Weibo starting to falter here, Blank. They couldn't quite cross the open ground. The bounce is big, and Hero goes down. 33Z needs to stand up and will be able to find one, but there's still two more on the inside to deal with. Hero is down. Order completely flushed away. There's off angles starting to come through from Arcred as well, and this is going to get nasty. I don't think anyone's making it out here. The question is who gets the points.
Way bad? I'm kind of confused by that push a little bit. I like the initial start to it. I think they had to finish it quickly. I think they thought they had a lot more time than they realistically did. Now Arcred moving into the situation, it's a little bit worrying, but wins so far. He is winning. He is on a big win at the moment, holding off two separate squads. Finally, Sook will finish off at least one of those teams. Oh, come on, look behind you, look behind you, look behind you. Please look behind you. Oh!
Hitting him with the pantomime plays right there. Team Flash was behind him the whole time. Oh, no. Win, able to be the only survivor of that engagement. Said I didn't think anyone was getting out. I stand corrected. We have one player who did make it through, but he's going back. Blank, he can't bear to leave it. The sight of his fallen comrades. Oh, you love to see it. But you do need to get a move on.
All right, that's a loot goblin. That's a damn loot goblin.
Just two more first aids and then I'm fine.
I love it. I love it. I'm a kind of a loot goblin as well, so I respect it. I respect. I know Maxman. Maxman's the worst loot goblin in the world.
That's true.
One time I was in a 1v3. He was just like, I need to find a cheek pad on this guy. I'm like, you don't need the cheek pad, Max. Don't need it.
Max, he needs the cheek pad. It makes his shots more stable. Ooh, one player left for the RXs. Ragnarkaya have been successful in their campaign to push up north from their south edge, up to 6 elims now, and they get rid of the last player for DRX. Silas, though, does get spotted. So does Zed Wolf. Ooh, that is nasty. And that's Arena. Nades coming through from Influence Rage. Immediately take them down. Not so successful anymore, Blank. Wild and Loxy, the last two to remain.
You know what? For Influence Rage, I love this. They've got the field of Doritos off in the distance right now. Set themselves up in a very awkward location, but it works. It really does work. They're expending so many smokes, though, to make this happen. But they have a central spot. And it looks good right now. I did not expect Alliance to get this far into the game. But they have. Doing quite well off the back of it. I mean, only 3 players, but still going strong. Now, I'd like to see a win out of the arena. I would love to see a win out of the arena.
Yeah, it would be good. And the high ground that they've been afforded by this, I mean, it's basically unassailable at this stage for Sakura. He's just been able to stay up there basically the entire game. They are farming elims from here. The question I have is ammo. Okay, he's still got another clip behind him. I think he's going to have to descend. Well, he will have to descend after he runs out. But they've got 10 elims already, Blank.
Yeah, it's great. The Sakura with the 8 of them, like you say, it's nuts. I think they can push further on this one. Again, it was strange because, like I said, there's a huge amount of talk around E-Arena saying this team was going to bang coming out from SEA, and they just didn't, right? They just didn't. And we were kind of I was kind of confused by it all. So that is a nuts nade. That is a nuts nade. What was that? That was from up top as well. What? I'm going to stop talking. I'm just going to let them put on the show right now because it looks sublime.
And I mean, this is one hell of a way to kick off your group stages, right? A big rondo. That is absolutely what you're looking for to start off the day, to start off your group. And on the south side, I mean, who's going to stand up to them here? The circle helps them out even more. I mean, they have been helped a lot by the circle and that high ground the Sakura's been on. Sure, now you have to drop it back down. But I think, has Joker gone up there instead?
To be fair to E-Arena, right? To be fair to them, they have fought for this spot. It wasn't gifted. It wasn't like just sat here and they were just like, oh, the circle's going to us each time. They fought against VP. They've cleared teams out in front of them. I think they've not played this badly. And I like this push out from Tony K as well. You know, this is very proactive. They know that it's fielded area down towards the south side. You don't realistically want to just let teams wander over towards you on this high ground. Allow them to get up towards the trees, because if they can get towards the trees, then they can play the game. You don't want them to even get to that point.
Yeah, you want to keep them all locked in a really uncomfortable situation if you can. And Tony K's flex out. I mean, Godspeed spotted it. But will he be quick enough on the trigger? That's the question. Win that challenge, even if he is. That doesn't mean that the rest of the arena can't keep that suppression going. 9 elims for Sakura, by the way. That's crazy. And climbing, as he's able to get another one. Flushed out by Tony K, but that elim is attributed to Sakura for getting that initial knock. Regnum Kaya up into 4th place, but maybe not going any further. Those nades from Influence Rage have been brutal to Regnum Kaya.
Yeah, it's been tough. I mean, Wild is doing wild things alongside with his teammate, but Loxy did go down there, and now Influence Rage can continue to throw the Molotovs in. It's getting real hot there for Wild. Will just try and drop a first aid kit, trying to live longer than teams around him, but it's looking like a 4th place to me. Personally, unless things get really difficult over towards BG, but I don't think they'll go down first. Surely not. No. So Wild does get a 3rd place. Well played.
Oh, nice. Healing it out. Getting that 3rd place. Brilliant stuff. Influence Rage with Lil Boy down. Now the only team that stands in E-Arena's way. They have got that field of D4s, the tetrahedra, littering around them. Sakura, I mean, he's got 11 eliminations this match, Blank. A lot of them were up on the high ground, but he's got, I think, at least 3 since he's come back down. Grabbed a lot more ammo. And Influence Rage, I mean, there's nowhere really that they can move where E-Arena won't fully know exactly what's going on. The difficulty and the vulnerability is, I mean, exactly that, right? They are very split, so could potentially be vulnerable to that.
I mean, for Influence Rage, they've created a fantastic stronghold for themselves, but they need to leave this stronghold soon. This is so cool for Influence Rage. If they can win this game, it will be a comeback to start things off. But it's very unlikely. I think what they've set up here really does show off like the cool aspects of Rondo, in my opinion. Let's see how things do pan out as we are getting in towards our final zone very shortly.
You see those jammer packs on a couple of players as well. That's not going to last you too long at this stage. You imagine they've been bled through. Tony K. A cheeky little peek out the side there. Diego can't connect, and neither can Tony K. The regroup comes through from E-Arena, and Influence Rage are going to have to leave their stronghold. As Little Boy steps out, the smokes are starting to fade as well. Up into the trees, up into the vehicles. It's going central next, Blank. The open hillside, I mean, E-Arena probably have to move a little bit later. I don't know if they've got any more flares, though, to play around with. They could send them tumbling down towards the low side, and that's a big pickup. Tony K, the off angle, isolated and taken down. Now in a 3 versus 4.
I think that peak's bad. That peak is just categorically bad, where the circle hasn't even started to push in yet. You're challenging a team that has cover right now. Luckily, you've got Byakuya Kuchiki here with the Senbon Sakura in action right now for the squad in the arena.
Have you put a curse on me? What's going on? My goodness me. I'm sure Maxman knows. I'll ask him afterwards. He can translate. I mean, it's
a 17-point game. This is unbelievably good. I mean, Law's definitely just going to deny the point here, but oh my days, 27 points in the back pocket. It's a blossoming game here for E-Arena.
Absolutely beautiful. What a way to kick things off. And I think that might be a record for a single player, Blank. Sakura able to do so much on his own. Well, I say on his own, with the protection underneath of the rest of his team. He was hunting from up on high. I'm really waiting for that MVP card, because 100% is Sakura, first of all. Yeah. I want to know how much damage.
The Eye of Sauron has entered the battlefield here with EA. Are you kidding me? Sakura with the high ground was just unstoppable this game, Max.
He could see all, and if he saw you, well, your survival time would go down to like 5 seconds. Unfortunately, you don't want to be encountered with Sakura. He had 11 eliminations at a portion of this game here. Sakura was putting on an absolute clinic from the high ground. And he was not just only getting eliminations right, Nipchara. He was also giving valuable information to his teammates to get really strong positions, transition points in the later stages of that game. E-Arena, it was... like, sure, the circle was definitely favoring their position, but they used that spot to its absolute full potential.
They really, really did. I mean, Sakura doing massive amounts of damage there, 1,400 damage. But I tell you what, every knockout he's getting, he's confirming as well. Some really good stuff there. And I want to point out as well what I loved seeing there in that transition point between being up on that mountain to having to now fight in the end zone, right? Was the mobility. They switched so quickly. They were ready for that transition. It was not, oh, we're going to be up on the mountain and then, oh no, what do we do with the aggression? It was like, no, time to go, Max.
Look at Tony K. He took 757 damage. What is?
Wow.
He's a paladin on the team. He's the tank of the squad. I think that's literally one of the highest damage taken stats I've ever seen. I don't know if you've seen higher, but of course, because Rondo got the recall, but what, oh my god, that's high.
Those stats are wild. Okay, 757 damage taken, 837 damage done, and 1 elimination. That is by far the craziest stats. I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, yeah, that high ground position from Sakura just paid dividends here in this match. We can't stress just how crazy it is for a team to get a 10 elimination chicken dinner. For one player to do that by himself is just wild, especially for the first game of Group Red, Max.
Yeah, first game of Group Red. Again, absolute cinema being provided here. I'm really happy with some of these fights we did see in the mid-stage portion of this match. Virtus Pro, though, this was one of the most important fights, right, Nipchara? Them losing that position over to E-Arena kind of locks in that chicken dinner early on this match for E-Arena.
Yeah, they really, really did. You have to challenge that kind of position early on, and if no one does it, or if you lose that challenge, then that just solidifies that team even more. After that, there was not really much chance of really challenging them and getting them out of that position. So EA hunkered down, held their ground, and they were able to get the win just off of that, really. But the other thing that was interesting, what are you saying?
You want to hear a crazy stat?
Go for it.
Right off the rip here. All right, well, EA, ridiculous amount of eliminations and the chicken dinner. During the Gauntlet, right, all 3 days combined, they had 74 points, guys. In their first match here in Group Red, they are going to put up 33% of that total in just one game.
Wow. I mean, you know what? I love that for them. I love that for them. Yes, because I think we were expecting so much more in the Gauntlet stage with them, right? We were thinking E-Arena is going to be one of those top teams, and they just weren't. So now, coming into Group Red and seeing them put up such a performance, it's like, finally, E-Arena is back, Max.
Do you want another fun stat? Team Secret, during the entirety of their group, got 32 points. In one game, E-Arena got 27. Just saying, okay? That's a mad game they just had on that Rondo. Sorry, Team Secret, but... probably at the airport, so they can't fight back. Whatever. Anyways, Influence Rage, also a really good performance here. Able to survive against the likes of Regnum. Burmese Ghouls, also a really good hold on that southern position, low ground position. Really happy with their performance. And Burmese Ghouls, actually, Nipchara, way more silent than I would have liked to see coming out from this team. They had opportunities to maybe third-party your Regnums versus Influence Rage, or even that fight to the west versus Flash and Weibo and even Arcred at some point. But no, they stayed very passive, and that scares me a little bit because passive, would it be enough for you to be in top 3? Not quite, so I want to see more presence from this team eventually.
I mean, they are generally a more compact team, so I think they probably are going to keep to themselves a little bit, but I don't hate it for the first game, right? Especially when it's a Rondo, it's still a little bit unsure about how the lobby's really going to be playing that. So I don't hate it for the first game, but yeah, we definitely need to see a little bit of a step up and more proactiveness coming through from them later on in today's matches. But your MVP of Rondo is going to be Sakura. We knew it was going to be Sakura. Come on now, 11 eliminations. No one did that. There's just no beating this guy in this map map at least.
Yeah, we're probably not going to see that for the rest of the Group Red, to be honest. I mean, that's just a crazy, crazy day, you know? So, I mean, for him to bust that out in game number 1, it's got to be so hype for EA. Like, I did the official math. It's 36% of their total points from the Gauntlet in just one game here off the rip. We just really hope this is not a flash in the pan, you know, moment. We want to see this just rocket launch this squad, you know, and kind of have that little alpha gaming presence, right? That big improvement from Gauntlet to here. And that's the advantage, right? If you're in the Gauntlet, you get a little bit more time under your belt to come in strong. They understand how important Rondo is here, and they really took full advantage of it, Max.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to talk about a team in particular we didn't highlight just yet, which is going to be Alliance. They went for position. I think some people might look at this game and think, oh, that road dip, it's not really a great position. But you can make it a great position with, guess what? Emergency cover flares. And they put down, I believe, 3 emergency cover flares in that position. And they were holding it for so long this game, which I was really happy about it. The main issue was of course, Sakura on top of that rock mountain. That was going to be an issue. But outside of that, Alliance for me had a great macro game positionally speaking, so it gets me excited to see what their rotations will look like going into the other 2 maps on today's matches.
Yeah, for sure. The other team that I was actually really impressed with how they were setting themselves up was Acred, actually, up onto the northwest side it was. They were really split across the mid stage, and they had a really nice split going, and then they had a really quick regroup, and were trying to third party the Flash WBG fight as well. And I really liked how mobile they were. They were surrounding that fight. They were trying to get all the best angles. They seemed like macro wise, they seemed like a really switched on. They were really doing a great job there. So I'm excited for them as well in the next Erangel.
Yeah, I think Alliance would have done a lot better, right? If those emergency cover flares, they're pretty tall, Max, right? But not tall enough to block that high ground that EA
Not where Sakura was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that nade, right? By the way, so sick. I mean, from the high ground, rocket launching it all the way down, he laced it. And then he had an earlier one, right? Where he got those, he wiped out Virtus Pro. All 3 players with 1 nade from that high ground position. So that is just crazy to see. But you know what? Another good fight that we saw, Max, right, was between Flash and Weibo, right? That was a pretty interesting fight. It was going back and forth for a good minute. We saw Tops with a really good nade onto 2 of their players, but then he ended up pushing out by himself, got knocked eventually. But it's good to see Weibo, you know, with a good fight at the start here.
I really respected the approach actually from Flash, trying to leapfrog the position in the compound itself against Weibo. That was a really good idea. Then it got a little bit messy, Niptura, I would say. There was a very good idea at first, but then it got down to like some 1v1 fights, some 1v2s. It was a little bit all over the place. And I actually did really respect what Arcred were trying to pull off, which is third party, just a player north, a player south, try and get a little bit involved in that conversation. But Win, unfortunately, had the final word there in that fight, and he was able to survive the entire compound fight.
Messy, because we did see that Flash went all in and then immediately stepped back, and I almost want to say that they used those cover flares on the corner to actually kind of bait WBG, to bait them out and just kind of push them out a little bit into a more compromised position, and then they were able to take them out more easily, because as soon as Weibo pushed out, it got really messy really quickly. If it hadn't been for Acred, I think Flash would have won that more decisively. So I kind of want to give them the benefit of the doubt there just a little bit, but otherwise, yeah, it was a really interesting fight. I might want to go back and look at that again because it was interesting.
I do think you highlight a very good point, because we saw the Flash took some heavy casualties really quickly in that fight with Weibo, and they just started to play a bit more passive. And I think that actually that utility you bring up is very important. Those cover flares kind of forcing Weibo in a full sense of security, like they were in control of that fight, but actually no, they were never in control. And then Arcred even tries again to get involved in that fight and kind of ruins it. So yeah, it was very smart play from both teams, but at the end, just one player comes out on top. So is it really a win? To some extent, maybe, but not quite the win they were looking for here, Hot Jukes.
Yeah, you know what? Match number 1. I always say match number 1 in a tournament like this, you get I like to call it the Hot Jukes excuse card. I'll give a little punch for it, all right? You got to get warmed up. Crazy things are happening, you know. EA definitely didn't use that. That's for sure. They went out crazy. But you know what it is for the first game. But we're going into Erangel here now. That excuse card is over, okay? Looking at some of the potential drops that we have, Max, right? I am looking here. I don't think there's a big chance we're going to see one. One that could be interesting, though, at least in my eyes, is that Primorsk and Yasnaya area, right? There's a good chance that we're going to see Those are two different drop locations for Flash and Influence Rage. So both their main and backup spots are pretty much in the same spot here. I think that could make things interesting.
It could. I mean, if it goes in Yasnaya Polyana, Yasnaya, as we all know, big enough city, right? Hot jukes for two teams to coexist. If you're if you don't have too big an ego and you're willing to share, then it shouldn't be an issue. But Primorsk, I mean, Niptura, Primorsk hot drop, you can't share Primorsk. I know we drop Primorsk quite a bit in our Ultimate Royale games. If there's a team there, 99% of the time, it is going to be a hot drop. So if you do go for a fight there, I think it is going to be resulting one team getting instantly squad wiped in that position.
Yeah, I think it's really got to be. There's just not enough room, and often just the loot, you can't get the loot you need fast enough when it comes to how small it is, right? So I would think Influence Rage probably, if they do think that they're going to get hot drop there, that you see a third location here, Quarry. They probably do a 2-2 split here normally, but if Flash is going to try and hot drop them, just go to Quarry and do a Quarry split, and they should be fine.
Should be fine indeed. Well, you know what, man? I want to hear from the Obi-Wan Kenobi of the last match, right? He had the high ground, right? Sakura. So I know we're about to hear from him and the 7WG. They're getting that ready. So, man, what a crazy game number one. Game number two is coming up any second now. But let's go ahead and take it on over to the stage to hear from the 7WG at Sakura.
Welcome to a quick report with the 7WG. I'm joined by Sakura from EA. They just had an stellar performance. I want to pick your brain a little bit. What was the biggest change that you guys made from the Gauntlet here to Group Red?
อะไรคือการเปลี่ยนแปลงที่ใหญ่ที่สุดจากรอบ Gauntlet มารอบกรุ๊ปเรดกรุ๊ปแดงก็พยายามเล่นให้ใจเย็นกว่าเดิมครับเพราะว่ารอบ Gauntlet ที่เราเล่นคือเราเล่นรีบร้อนไปหน่อยครับทำให้เสียง่ายครับ So we try to play more calm because in the Gauntlet stage we rushed our timing too much and made us like die easily.
Well, that makes sense. You guys played it out perfectly too, and making sure that you cleared the North of Alliance. Some little quick stats for you guys. In the Gauntlet, this team was averaging about a 10th place to 2 to 3 ilms today. First place, 17 ilms. Now, looking around here in this Group Red, is there any team that you're looking at that maybe is going to cause you some trouble throughout the days?
ในกลุ่มแดงกลุ่มนี้คิดว่ามีทีมไหนไหมที่อาจจะเป็นปัญหาให้ทีมเราก็ตอนนี้ยังไม่มีครับ Right now we have no teams that are going to be a problem for us.
All right, well, hey, right now, 11 ilms to you. Great performance. This is not looking like a 16th place team. I can't wait to see what they're going to be doing for the rest of the day.
Yeah, that's a fact. Goodness gracious, right? I love that shout too, right? Saying that, you know what, we were rushing our timing just a little bit too much. And that's where, I mean, we talk about it all the time, just how imperative these nerves are to these players. You know, you're at such a big stage. You've worked all year to get here. You're not in the comfort of your own house anymore, Niptura, right? So it's understandable why some of these teams will be a little bit quick to jump the gun on certain decisions. I'm glad that they realized that and calm things down here. It definitely worked, that's for sure, for match number one.
It sure did, right? Yeah, it's interesting because looking over my notes, you know, you go that E-Arena are actually really instant to rotate. They always are ahead of the zone when it comes to those zone shifts and trying to rotate as quickly as possible. So it's interesting that they say they're rushing because if you're rushing instant rotates, you are really, really quick. So it is nice that they've adapted to the lobby, especially these teams. You know, they've done their research, figured out what they want to do, and just slowed it right down. And that, yeah, like you said, I mean, they slowed it right down to the point of having one singular position basically the whole match, and it really, really worked.
I like during the interviews, like, oh, we just played calm, a little bit slower. I'm like, bro, you just got a 17 elimination chicken dinner. What's slow about that? what's calm about that? I think he's just a humble king, Hodrick. Just a humble king. He's like, don't worry, we'll make it fine. But actually, we're the best team in the lobby, and right now they proved it. They're the kings of Rondo because, well, you only have one Rondo per day. Because now it's a wrangle coming up. Let's go.
Let's get it going to the grassy pastures. Let's get match number 2 started. It's Aaron Gale, John Allen, Blank. Are we going to see another player get double-digit eliminations today?
Today? I don't think we'll see it for the rest of the tournament. And we'll probably won't see it for the rest of the year, Blank. I'll go as far as that. That was something special from Sakura, assisted by the rest of E-Arena and a little bit by the Circle. But beautiful stuff nonetheless to kick things off. A massive lead earned by E-Arena very early on. And they'll need it. moving in. There'll be plenty of teams looking to take that top spot from them. Plane path from the west coast down towards Novo Blank. A little bit hard on the south side.
Yeah, I think it's a very, very difficult plane for the south side. And there was a lot of talk about Primos there in terms of the drop on that side with the flash as well as the influence rage. There's a chance that influence rage just picks up quarry, which would make sense as well. Instead of going far down towards Primorsk. I am curious to see where the flash do end up though. Balls in the meantime going to go for the very peer split.
Yeah, looks like Primorsk going to be just the one team and actually dropping a little bit short to split around that quarry area to grab those vehicles for influence rage, get them on the road nice and fast. The circle yet to reveal itself. Looks like Team Flash, they're currently out towards Potato Hill, just heading over farm. And we are going west with the circle, so maybe they wish they would have gone back to that southwest side, but the access there for Influence Rage up the west coast will be nice and quick. A lot of teams out onto the military island as well. 3 currently taking up residence. You've got Burmese Ghouls as well as VP and GK all on the island.
Do you know what I always find very interesting is that you finish Group Green and you come into Group Red. Now, if you're a melee-based team, it's a weird one now, right? Where if you're Burmese Ghouls, you're trying to think to yourself whether it's a good idea to continue playing this drop spot or try and figure out somewhere else to play. Because even if you do make it into the Grand Finals, you're fighting for your drop spot between you and arguably the best team in the lobby right now, right? What will be arguably the best team in the lobby in Alpha Gaming. So do you think about changing your drop spot, or do you just play things out for the time being and then figure that out when you get into Grand Finals? And right now just try and get into the top 3 from this position?
I mean, that's a big win, right?
I know, right? It really is.
It needs you to qualify towards those grand finals because they won't be in last chance, remember? So that contest won't be there if you're able to get to that last chance stage, which will be potentially interesting. So maybe that's what they're relying on. And finals is sort of like the gravy on the meal for them if they're able to get there. Not to say that they're not capable of it. They absolutely are. But I think, all things considered, there are more likely candidates right now. Certainly candidates that people would say are more favorite to be getting through in the spots that we have available here and in that last chance stage. It'll be a difficult road to run. So for now, I think focus on what you can do, what you know. If what you know best is that military base area, go for it. I don't think you need to worry too much about that.
Yeah.
For now.
A little PSA for everyone watching. For Twisted Minds, if you weren't aware, 4YDO is pronounced Chudo. So if you hear me talk about Chudo, it's that guy. So I know that's thrown me off before, about 2 years ago. So hopefully that helps some of you guys at home if you're not familiar with that region too much. But they got Walsh on board. Overall, pretty damn good team is Twisted Minds. I think they have some very good players on side. And can go very far with that team. I think that right now, I would say they play Pachinki better than the Falcons do, personally.
Okay. Well, I mean, at the moment, what we've discovered about how the Falcons play Pachinki is get out of there as fast as you can and don't play it at all. It works better for them. So you might be right on that one.
GK down towards the southeast side. Another Abnoya. Bit of a journey up towards the north, but should be okay. They are cut off by quite a few teams. That's purely because of the plane path, which cuts down towards the southeast. With True Rippers playing in Milter, which I think is a pretty damn good spot to start from. It gives you a lot of options. On this circle, it's not so great, obviously, because you do have to move off the west and pass through farm. But I imagine Alliance will leave at some point to try and get that crossing. Boars moved early off of Ferry Pier towards the north side around Gaka.
Trying to get in towards the center here. I mean, we've seen quite a lot of circles end up towards Everest, around those Gatka fields, right? Back in Gauntlet, and I think quite a bit into Group Green as well. Looks like Group Red will have their fair share. Are we going to get more Everest finishes? Is anyone actually going to go up to the top of Everest? And is anyone going to go to the compound that, certainly for a match or two, nobody seemed to want to go to on that south point of Everest, overlooking those Gatka fields? Right now, looks like Regnum Kaya are looking to go up the mountain. Twisted Minds, they transition from Pochinki to a compound a little bit further along the way. We'll see where everyone else pulls up as well.
Yeah, again, this is what I love, because I think if you watch Team Falcons, they would have played Church. They would have 100% played Church on this circle, and they would have been slow to the center. I think the Twisted Minds they have a better understanding of how to take advantage of this central position. I like it. I like it a lot. They're playing a little bit of a lineup right now, which cuts out teams coming through from Ruins, so it's a good split. Weibo coming in from that north side. That's from North George, just heading over the top of Everest at the moment. But we do have a lot of teams already fairly central on this one. Teams who did get cut out by the plane early have yet to move. And fair enough to them, because it's a long journey in. It's likely you're going to be playing Edge for a while. So that's teams like True Rippers, Burmese Ghouls, Geekay, Virtus Pro as well, all the way towards Lipovka.
Yeah, I think you've got Nuclear Zone as well, rather aptly playing it towards Mill to Power. Big fan of that thematic naming, thematic drop spot. Coming through on the Egypt points qualification. Big pickup for them. I'm already a fan. I want them to win the whole thing.
You do? Because they're dropping him Power?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm a sucker for it. What can I say? ETSH, they found Win. He was the lone survivor of the fight in the fight. Goodness me. Hopefully not that. But the fight in the last game.
Smelly.
That's some off chicken dinners there. But he was the only one to be able to get out of that scrap we saw in the last match. But we'll go down first this time. I know.
The lone survivor, you say. Must have been pretty deadly, right?
He's been sat in the casting booth with you before.
What the hell? The hell? That's crazy talk.
No, you're very clean.
Everyone knows I'm incapable of. Over towards the western side, we've got Irina from last game, who were not silent, but they were deadly over on that top side. Now looking over to the east, it's a bit of a more difficult run out for them. They got Influence Rage in front of them, trying to get a little bit of revenge for last game. Feel some vindication from that hold that they had. I think the only thing that concerned me in that last game was Tony K's angle and the time which he was peaking. I was looking back on it just on the feed, and I think that the reason he's doing that is to prevent any runouts coming through from Influence Rage. And that's the only reason I can think he would go for that. But again, they were fairly locked in. I suppose you can't play too passive. So he does his job. He did make it slightly more difficult though. And I think maybe you could have backed off the angle a little bit quicker, because you only have to do like short bursts of fire. It depends how accurate Influence Rage is there. But I'm really going into very much specifics there. So I don't think there was too much that bothered me from E-Arena's gameplay last game. I want to see them do something similar again. You've got a lot of momentum coming off from the back of that rondo. It's time to put that to good use.
Absolutely. It's a tool in your arsenal, and you need to be able to utilize everything at your disposal. So hopefully they can use, as you say, that momentum. Influence Rage, I mean, they have a little bit of momentum coming into this one. Everyone over 10 points on that last match will probably, well, hopefully have a little bit of momentum, right? An Alliance, we'll see if they can keep things going on their 11-point spree in that last game and get a little bit further. They're on the southwest side of that Gatka field, and we'll see what they can do. Geekay currently fueling up at the petrol station, making sure their cars are topped up from the gas. Prices, well, there's no attendance, so it's free. That's not normally what you're allowed to do, but here in PUBG Mobile, no one's going to stop you.
And great shots from Easy for Bad Boy there over towards Aragon on the back line. Voston's going to try and back up there and chasing him down, barking at him. And he will continue to be a nuisance, though. He's not leaving fully. I'm coming back. I'm coming back for more.
Okay. No, there's no one in there. He's a bad boy. You don't. It's fine. There's no one in the smokes. They've actually moved them entirely. But I mean, that's the back off that Voston was able to do, right? Maybe they do think that there's players still down in those smokes. And they're putting a lot of pressure out there. They've moved the target, and now they can get some healing and get away free. So for Voston, I mean, he might have been a yappy little dog, like a little terrier, going at it, but it's come up well. It's looking good for them. On the south side, Geeke, they leave the petrol station. They're moving past Quarry now. The nuclear zone in tow, just behind it a little bit on that south side.
Rotate's looking really good, honestly, in Group Red. It's a very, very quiet game so far. I think that's because teams have been very effectively able to cut out a lot of squads coming their way. Look at the split on the circle as well. It's that, honestly, that's beautiful to me. That is beautiful. I love to see that. Everyone's got their own space. Everyone's taking their own splits, trying to maintain presence. That's a gorgeous zone. I don't see that very often.
Yeah, it's all the way out to the west. Everybody who took that really nice disparate split over on that east side, they're going to have to crunch in, cram in as best they can. Sending the overpopulation out west side, past Gatka, towards the swamp as well. The fields to the north, really tricky terrain to play around with. Influence Rage playing in the U-bend right now, off the road. And seeing if they can hold off on those banks, those terrain ridge lines that cover off towards that north side. A little bit of surround there. Arena, I mean, they love that high ground, so you're not going to get him off there anytime soon. Over towards Geeke. There's that momentum. There's another Elim. Second of the match.
Yeah, I mean, they're going. They're trying to get more done. Tony K finding Ragnarok from Geeke as well. Picks up the second there. Some more shots. Little bit more wild from Tony K, but still looking over towards Kevin. I mean, does have a bit of a kick on it there with the 3x and the silencer on board. Bit tough to make happen. NC2 though will get out of there. Is it NC squared or is it NC2? What do you think?
And NC2. I'll go in NC2. Because if it was MC2, then maybe it would be MC squared, right? But nah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You haven't. The N hasn't earned it. You know, hasn't got the rep.
Yeah, if you put two ends close enough together, though, maybe you go to MC squared.
That is how that works. I'm pretty sure. Burmese Cools take a shot out towards Virtus Pro on the south side. Both trying to rotate in past Twisted Minds on that south edge as well. In these hills, down towards the roadside. There's really nothing that is going to be safe for the time being. Virtus Pro, they're not getting their teammate back up, but can they keep everyone else alive? Can they stay up as three? Because their record is very low.
I mean, Virtus Pro's had some tough rotates so far. They keep running into squads and can't quite find a place to stay. Again, I do genuinely think this has been some really nice play from every single team in terms of rotations. I mean, even just like this zone in particular, it's very hard to keep 16 players in it, 16 squads in it. Yet we're doing it. Like, there's fields off towards the east, there's fields on the north, there's fields on the west. There is this strip of land down towards the south side, and we have 16 teams at this stage of the game. It's unheard of. It's very nice to see, honestly. It's not exciting, but it is beautiful.
Oh, that field. Towards the Regnum Kaya central area. Arena going to have to give up the hold on the west side. They've been holding about a kilometer stretch of road on that west side blank for the longest time. And they are now going to have to regroup probably towards Tony K, towards that south edge, but maybe a little bit closer. It's a very field heavy ending though on this one. We are taking up the majority of the land with that field.
Yeah, I mean, there is not a lot of area to play here. I sometimes think that like the land here sort of looks like America, like this field. Look at the same shape as the landmass.
Oh.
You know? No. See what I'm saying? No. Maybe you don't feel it.
No, not at all. Actually,
Like with all the little states in it as well.
Stop the roll up. Stop this, you. It's the wrong way around, first of all. It's reflected. But let's crack on with the game. Because we've got ArcRed trying to roll up to Weibo, who have Regnum Kaya even further beyond this one. And you know that this central hill is going to be a major feature of this zone, and the fact that Weibo have the top of it when Regnum Kaya were there much, much earlier is nice for them, but there is that counterpoint to it. Maybe they're more content with that north side.
Yeah, if you're Regnum Kaya, actually this is like a bit of a... It's a more smart maneuver, in my opinion, is that you're sort of playing with Weibo as opposed to against them. It's a little bit underhanded in terms of the way you're playing it out, where any team that comes into this small valley between them is going to feel the force of both squads. And you essentially put yourself in a stalemate to live further into this game. I personally prefer Regnum Kaya's position as well, because everyone's going to want to crash onto Weibo, right? No one really wants to crash Regnum Kaya.
No, it's it is a little bit tough, right? It's maybe not the best idea, but I think crashing anyone is still a bad idea. Like it is going to go poorly for you.
Well, I mean, you have to. You have to crash
when you have to make that choice. Yeah, sure. That's probably where we're going to find it.
Because you can isolate fights there in terms of sightlines. Like that's one of the few positions on the map where you can isolate sightlines and get it into a proper 1v1. But with Regnum Kaya being here, it's just so difficult because you can't play on the ridge side to the west. Like you have to full commit. It is interesting the way they've set it up, and basically this means that ArcRed, Weibo, and Regnum Kaya are likely just going to be like, well, guess we're all staying here until stage 7 or 8.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the spot. You don't want to give it up. They are really holding each other at arm's length, but True Rippers trying to deliver on that gunfire promise coming on through. They are doing a lot. Twisted Minds really suffering. Burmese Ghouls with a little assist on the outside, and True Rippers may be able to stay alive as 3, but Burmese Ghouls going to try and roll over the top as well, or maybe just get ahead of the fight entirely. But Lord, I didn't even see him there, but was he inside the hovercraft the whole time? Oh no, Alliance now with the last player of True Rippers, Jelly, causing problems as he rides up towards the top, but against Alliance, against all 4 of them? I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, it's not happening. I mean, that's a horrible fight. It was going to pop up at some point. You have to third party here if you want to maintain a position. Influence Rage, Stonks just went through the roof right now on that position towards the swamp.
Oh yeah. That is going to get busy on that north side. But I mean, holding it all at this stage might be too much, and actually Geeke gonna sidle on into the west side of that swamp position, so they'll be sharing it. The first crash onto the center's going, and it is towards ArcRed and Weibo, coming through from Team Flashblank, looking for that central field hill towards that tornado siren.
I mean, this is not cool, man. It's not cool. These 3 guys, they held this first. All right? You stop bullying my 12-man team, Flash. You get back.
Uh-oh. There we go. Hard boy. Softened up a little bit there. Does go down. Tops is the trade-off, though, for it. And Team Flash, they still have a player out towards the north side. So it is basically just Zeus in that middle spot. Not really too much to do. Moving over. Wants to get that res and needs the backup in the area. Regnum Kaya, actually, they break the peace accords. Blank.
Yeah, that's uncool. Yeah, that's uncool. That's really uncool.
Oh,
this is even more uncool. All right, we could have all won. We could have all won together.
Oh, top 3, not to be, baby. ETSH as well. They're across the field and they're eyeing this up too. Blank, maybe a 5-team hold on the central tornado siren.
Oh, bro, is this my 15-man team? Yes, please. All right.
Oh dear.
Okay. I mean, Regnum Kaya starts to sling the grenades, and I mean, those are brutal.
Ooh. And another for Silas. Nade over the top. Zed Wolf polished off the knock with a spray down, and that is big.
God.
Another nade coming through. Oh no! Weibo, they're getting catastrophically bombarded here around the tower. Asuk now the last to stand, desperately clinging on. Everybody else seemingly unscathed. I mean, they had that little scrap on the south edge, the regroup from Team Flash. Boars, they're trying to approach. Everybody wants to get in towards the tornado siren. They hear it blaring. I think the back tires on that monster truck might have been out, but they're still going to make it work. Bose moves on in for the spray, but has to descend and stay alive for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This is all Regnum Kai's fault. All right. If only they could just be a little bit friendlier, maybe this wouldn't have happened. I was thinking they do waste grenades by throwing those over towards Weibo. There was no full commit, and they weren't gonna full commit over the top either towards Arcred. So yeah, you get a couple of knocks. I think potentially you ruin the utility side of things. Good nade from Snowix. That's a bit of French passion right there.
Sure, they'll be happy with that. The Boars are trying to move in and take the position that Team Flash moved in towards, but that is a big nade over towards the back and a little bit of a response. Turns him into a bit of a pancake, but he's down in the smoke and able to bide his time. Nicely found. Oh, it's all over.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much, but
oh no,
influence rage, more like influencing the circle. Am I right, guys? As it moves down towards the south, and that's probably a free win, if I'm honest. It's a fairly easy win off the back of that one. Weibo do get out of the way, and you can see actually the nades that were sent over the top over toward. Oh my god! Actually, it's not bad. Weibo are like, we need things. We just saw lots of things drop on the floor over here. We need them. So they are just pilfering whatever they can. All right, it's turned into a bit of an extraction. Shooter-looter.
They were getting completely bombarded out, Blank. They're almost all at full HP now. Weibo managed to put themselves back together. Ramses wants to try and change that, though, up for order. It will be hot on the spray now, up to Hero. 33Z charging forwards, trying to close the ground, force the peaks back. And he's on the guard. No chance of getting that flush. And that's another player going down. Ramses is down, and that is another box. Tidy.
Very nice. That can't be. Weibo's just getting more boxes. I like it. Yeah, I was kind of surprised they got a full reset on this one. 33Z finds another there off in the distance. Sets them up to 2 heliums total. Maybe it was maybe Regnum Kai would just keep them on their toes, you know, right? I got to give them
pretending to fight so nobody else would join.
Exactly, but they had to commit to it, otherwise no one would have believed.
Yeah. That's very honestly. Silas is so smart for that. You know, brilliant strategy coming through. Maybe that'll change though, because Silas and Loxy going to take it down. That's actually from Alliance, and now again it's just Wild and Zed Wolf holding on inside the smoke, and Weibo after their full reset and their box brigade are sending on in. There's no chance that you get through, and that is a two-way takedown with Alliance and Weibo shattering Regnum Kaya.
Weibo got a taste for the boxes now. They want more boxes. Taking down Regnum Kaya, that's a big pick-off. This is a strong team. But, oh my goodness me, what a backstab coming through from Glory 22. Now just 2 players for Weibo up and remaining. Too focused on the box grind.
Hey, you know what? I didn't know it, but apparently 22 is greater than 33. It's new maths we're developing here on that northern side. And Arc Red, the progenitors. Last player going down on the outside for ETSH. They had a difficult crossing to play. Arena, by the way, they've been slowly playing this western side. They held all of that west coast for a long time. They moved up to the compound, out to the west of this area, and now they're transitioning. And with nobody else on the north, there's a realistic possibility that there's a top 2 in it for them here.
For E-Arena, they're playing Edge. I actually think Edge works really well in this particular lobby because there is so many teams willing. There's so many teams willing to play center, and honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and say it is that I do think the rotations have been a little bit slicker here so far than in Group Green. I think they've been pretty magnificent to watch happen. I think E-Arena is definitely benefiting from that as an Edge team because there's no one else holding them. And they could just slowly sweep their way in. It's very cool.
Bad news for teams, though, towards the bottom of the table. Top 3 right now, still very much in. And DRX, I think, may be in one of the rougher spots here, although Alliance do have to move forward. So, no, actually, I take it back. I think Alliance are in the rougher spot against DRX. who are in the next zone. They are going to have to move everybody else up towards it. Trying to stay on the outside as long as possible. Order strafing, spraying towards the arena, who also have to move forwards. But this blue zone's really going to hurt, and Order steps out into it to pick up the vehicle. Wants some healing. Again, arena under pressure from Souk, from Order, from everybody else from that Alliance high ground that they are still holding on.
Yeah, arena knows they just need to withstand them, basically. They need to withstand versus Weibo. You should get themselves a top 5 off the back of this one, but that'll be all that they'll be given, with 7 points total there on the elims, not to mention the placement points as well, grabbed off the back of that one. But yeah, that thing for Weibo is definitely a case of they got a taste for the boxes too much, and then got a little bit complacent with their positioning. Arena though, good smokes, slowly pushing forward here. They do need Alliance to be a little bit more aggressive though, because right now Influence Rage can fully turn attention this way.
And maybe up into a solid spot here. I mean, this is really big for both Influence Rage and for E-Arena. After having top 2 in that last match. Yeah, I mean, brilliant elim count for Alliance as well. This is a big top 3 starting to form very, very early on. I'm sure it's only 2 matches and that volatility will potentially decrease, but I mean, E-Arena feeling the APG reinvigoration?
Well, we'll wait and see. I'm pretty sure that they're likely to go down in 4th place here. Very difficult for them now. I think they're out of smokes. Yes, they are out of smokes. They have 15 nades, but not Rondo. You can't create the craters here on Erangel. Jimmy just trying to provide as many smokes as possible for the rest of the team to regroup on it, but DRX is not likely to let them leave. Yeah, for E-Arena, it's a fully pitched fight here versus Influence Rage, and Influence Rage can hear the fighting happening behind them. They don't have to look that way, so all they need to focus on doing is holding out this team on the north side. Super simple game for them, and I think that is the main thing for Influence Rage right now, is that their game has been simple, right? It's been nothing special. Every step of the way, it's been very clear goals that they need to hit. I think for Alliance, it's probably the more impressive game from them, right?
Yeah, fighting through on that south edge, clearing out so much and getting the elim count that they have. It's brilliant stuff. Arena going to move out towards the fields, play behind some of those hay bales. NC2 has to hop out as Joker actually crashes in further. And I think, yeah, that's going to be in the zone. Ooh, Sakura doesn't quite make the cross. They're down to 2, but he is going to bleed out. And there's not a double lock coming through from out in the fields, threading the needle there. DRX with the zone pushing. They're going to have to move forwards, but I don't know if they have the time to get these reses on board. Lil Boy looking for the shots towards NC2, but the hay bales keeping him safe.
I mean, they're down now, but that double knockover towards DRX was phenomenal. And now Influence Rage immediately turns tail and will look towards guys on the south side. Really here is depending on who's getting the 2nd place. Who gets that additional placement point. Pretty sure it should be Alliance. They've done a very good job to withstand DRX and these bounces, force them out of position. Now they're into the roadside. If Alliance goes down, they'd just be happy with getting some more of these elims on side towards DRX. Diego finds a couple, but Iftar will pick up at least 1.
And there's that final player going down from DRX. They have not been able to get the crossing. Now it's 3 versus 4. Influence Rage. They had this sort of numbers advantage, but this time they've got the high ground, as opposed to against E-Arena in the last. But it's still the Southeast Asia giving them a run for it. The Brazilians trying to hold their nerve this time, moving forwards. Federal with the pump action around the corner, looking for the nade to bobble out to the side. It does damage, but it doesn't find it. Diego's down in the meantime, though. There's a wall of fire coming through, but finally he lays down the law, and just 1 player now remaining. Federal steps forward. He's given it a good go. The dance around the rocks. It's a 1v1 for the peak, but they will not be denied this time. Influence Rage with the forwards charge towards Alliance. Take them, force them into 2nd place, and from a 2nd place they launch themselves into a chicken dinner.
I felt like there was maybe a situation there where Alliance wins versus Influence Rage. There was a lot of whiff shots towards the end there from Influence Rage. It felt a little bit over aggressive at times, but overall Very well played to Alliance. I think they could be super pleased with that ending. Even if they came second place, they were popping off towards the end.
Oh yeah, beautiful stuff for Alliance. Big numbers being put up on the cards. For E-Arena, low eliminations means a minimal points earned this game. I think they only got 7, which is still a pretty good game, don't get me wrong. But it's not maybe what they were looking for. That hold on the west side, a little bit too passive for them. Influence Rage, helped out by the circle as well on their swamp side position. And they were able to keep their boots nice and dry, keep their heads on their shoulders, although they did get a little bit dizzy towards the end. They closed it out. And we're going to be closing out this game, heading back over to the desk as well to break down the proceedings of our first area.
Do Brazil Influence Rage to lay down the law in this match one right here. That's how you do it when it comes to Arigale. They had a good solid finish in Rondo, and then this last fight with Alliance. I'll tell you what, Law really had to do it there, right there towards the end. Beautiful pre-fires into the shotgun play. That's how you get it done, Max.
I was trying to find a way to do a pun with the other player names outside of Law, but I didn't have enough time. I didn't have time to prep. Influence Rage, very solid performance this time around. And you know what? They didn't have to fight Niptura. They had that position really early on. They dropped Promorsk. They, northern side of Promorsk near the quarry area. Push up. They take the swamp area for themselves, and they just hold off teams. And you know what? When a circle keeps going your way, that's realistically all you really have to do to get the win. And in this case in particular, very well executed. Double-digit eliminations here. Influence Rage can be super happy about this performance on Erangel.
Yeah, it's a really nice compound to actually have as well, right? Because it's so open on that northern side with those fields. So then it's overlooked also on the south side in Alliance's position. So actually they were really protected just because of how open and how overlooking the positions of other teams were, that Influence Rage were able to just kind of hunker down, fend off teams from their immediate position, and just wait for that final zone. Some really, really nice stuff coming in here. Some great stats we're seeing on the boards as well. I mean, Law only taking 17 damage for 4 eliminations is pretty crazy. Love that from him. Yeah, a really, really nice thing. They were able to conserve their energy for that final fight, and they were able to take the win. GG.
So far, it's been a great day for Influence Rage. They've had a second place going into the Rondo game, decent amount of eliminations, into now a chicken dinner with also a really good elimination count for themselves. Influence Rage, amazing Hodrix, and Alpha 7 already been in the finals. They want to join the homies. They want to make it there in Bangkok for the Grand Finals, and you know what? They might just have the homies qualifying if they keep having games like, what a banger right away.
The hermanos, that's right. The Brazilian brothers could make it happen. That's for sure. I mean, what a great start for this squad. Another great game for EA as well. They made it towards the end game in this one. 3 out of the last 4 squads all dropped in this particular location, so they didn't have to travel too far. Alliance did have to go all the way from farm, so they were the furthest team when it comes to that rotation. But man, to see 2 teams back to back, at least the top 2 squads kind of finish in the top 4 here, you got to watch out, Neptura, because those big point sponges can definitely create a big gap at the top for sure.
Yeah, very, very quickly. As we saw in Group Green, right, APG had one huge day and were never touched again, right? But it could be the same story here if these other teams aren't careful, that Influence Rage and EA could very easily run away with it. You're right, EA had a fantastic split on the western side. I really loved how they played that entire game up until the final push. I really wish they maybe had pushed Influence Rage a lot quicker, a lot earlier, rather than trying to go out for a northern rotate and a northern split. I just think that they had the perfect opportunity to do it. They were within nade range. Yeah. They could have a lot of cover away from the other teams on the south side. So I would have loved to see that a little bit more, but otherwise really, really well played from EA.
I think the game plan was for them to just hope for the circle to shift away from Influence Rage, but as we saw, never quite happened, and they were just forced into that position, and it just became an absolute meat grinder position that gave so many free eliminations over to Influence Rage, but I think also Alliance got a little bit versus Arena as we go through the replays of this game, and we're going to see Niptura Tornado Siren was just hectic. It had 3 teams for the longest time in Weibo that was ranked them to like how about we just work together? And we had a 12-player team on that position. It was crazy.
It was insane, right? I love that position so much. You can see here first, Weibo getting absolutely pummeled on both sides, and then Boar joining the conversation. Love the pivot that Flash made, actually. They were very, very quick to shift their attention from Tornado side to the back side of that area just to make sure Boars didn't do too much. Boars did get that win against them, but then immediately went out, and so then you had Akrit actually moving in, trying to do stuff. But WBG, that whole thing, just able to get them a full reset and then come back and do the business. It was really fun to see from them.
I'm really happy, actually, with Alliance. I thought too passive, Nitro. I was saying this entire game, they're not committing to a big play right now. They're just trying to silly. They went for these crate positions right next to Influence Rage, and actually what they were hoping for is for the circle to not be giving a decent position over to DRX, and which has happened. So that forced DRX out of their compound, and because they leapfrog that position, boom, easy pickup for Alliance. So Alliance not only able to secure eliminations off the back of that, in this case, 12 total eliminations, massive, massive performance, but also able to secure a second place just barely ahead of DRX. So Alliance, definitely quite a bit. Great position on the previous game on Rondo. This time around, the timing was on point, and they played until the right moment of this match. Hot Jukes, Alliance are genuinely impressing me so far in these two matches.
I love it. I mean, that's always a great part about PUBG Mobile. There's so many different ways you can win, right? I mean, you can play it, you know, kind of sneaky, passive, and then right when you get that opportunity, you pull the trigger. And Alliance did that. I mean, yeah, because we were talking about it, and you were like, yeah, dude, these guys are really playing this slow. But the second they saw that door open with DRX, they're like, all right, let's make it happen. And they did, right? So great decisions from all these teams. I'm definitely noticing, at least this compared to Group Green, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here, like when it comes to rotationally and fight timing, I feel like much more calculation from Group Red. I feel like Group Green would just be like, let's just gun out and take this team out with just our superior gun potential. But here, teams are very particular with their fights and shot placement. What do you think about that?
Group Green was like a little bit more demon mode, and now we're a bit more sophisticated. Niptro, I was just like, how about we work together in this position?
Yes.
You don't have to fight, homies. And actually, it's been really working out greatly for some of the top squads. I would have to agree.
It has, for sure. One thing I do want to mention just really quickly, though, is Law, actually, because he's MVP of the Erangel, the first Erangel. Really nice stuff coming in from him. But no, one team I want to mention just really quickly, though, Jukes, and Max, is VP. A top team that had so much potential, because of how unpredictable they are, rather, how aggressive they are. But I feel like right now they're not sure how to read the lobby. This particular lobby, this set of teams is proving very difficult for them on those rotations. They just keep getting blocked and interrupted in those rotations, so they're just not able to really find that position in circle. But yeah, they're going to be at the bottom of the leaderboards, but we want to look at the top right now because EA, Influence, and Alliance all up there, but the points are very close.
Yeah, they're close for now. That's only because we had 2 matches, but that's already a 15-point gap between 3rd and 4th place, Max, right? If we see, you know, these squads really run with another top finish in this game, it's going to be hard to catch them. That's what it comes down to, right? Whenever you get that good position, you got to put out a good game. And Influence Rage, they got blessed with that zone, but they put out some serious points, and that's how you get it done.
Now, you're saying hard to catch up. Like, we still have we have 16 matches, guys. Okay, let's
which is
down.
True.
Fair enough. But like, you don't want to take it too late. But it scares me a bit for DRX because they barely missed out on the grand finals going into the Gauntlet Stage. So hopefully that's not going to repeat itself. They're looking at the bottom of the leaderboards. I really want to echo the point that was just made about Virtus Pro. So far, they are a very aggressive team, very aggro, willing to take any fight they see. But here, you just got to be a little bit more thoughtful of when you take your fights and how you take your fights and where you take your fights. And Virtus Pro, I think, might be a team that struggles because the lobby is playing very differently than what we had at the very start of this PMGC season.
I gotta agree. And it doesn't help, especially when you have a pretty good, solid position, and all of a sudden, 3 of your players just get naded and you're out. Right, in game number 1. It's so difficult to bounce back from that mentality, Niptero, right?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I had totally forgotten about that, but that was a pretty nasty nade. That would knock the confidence of most teams, right? So I could see that maybe they just need a game or two to bounce back from that. But Virtus Pro, they're a team that have been there, done that. They're super experienced. I just hope in this next game we see a little bit more from them, maybe a little bit more adaptability. I just want to see them be able to pivot a little bit more. I will say I loved what they did. I forget who it was. Was it Akred in near Pachinki there with that first initial knock on rotation? I love how instant VP were to just block Akred from doing anything else, and actually Voston just running him off and going out of here immediately. Get off my lawn, we're busy here, was really, really nice. I really enjoyed that from him. So
Yeah.
they can do that. They can pivot really quickly. They just need to do that on a more macro scale.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about another engagement we saw this game, and I'm going to have to talk for the first time. We didn't talk about them too much, actually, this show so far for today. It's the side of True Rippers. They had a fight that they engaged versus, I believe it was onto Twisted Minds, onto the staircase, and they kind of all funneled themselves in a very small area on those staircases. I want to see some changes in terms of how you engage fights. True Rippers, for me, that was just never going to work out, not in 1,000 years. I want them to see for fighting the open, maybe try and secure off angles as you try and go for that initial engage, and then because if they do have off angles, Niptura, maybe 2 players south and 2 players on the staircases, I think they win that fight versus Twisted Minds pretty damn easily. But they all committed to such a small area that one spray just destroyed pretty much half the team instantly.
Yeah, that's often the case, isn't it? And I think especially in this lobby, we're seeing a lot of players, a lot of teams use those off angles. So it's definitely something you want to also use so you don't get left behind in terms of those fights, in terms of those CQC. So yeah, I really do agree that maybe just a little bit of a tweak there, just a little bit of a split is going to work wonders.
Well, let's hear from Law and the 7WG. Let's take it on over to the stage.
Welcome to a quick report with the 7WG. I'm joined by Do Brazil is in the house. Influence Rage. What a start to the day. A second place finish and then a first place finish in just 2 matches. Law, what was the mindset coming into this Group Red?
Então, Law, qual foi o mindset que vocês tiveram, né, vindo para esse grupo vermelho?
Acredito que sempre vai ser o melhor possível, porque a gente sempre busca ficar em primeiro, entendeu? Independente de campeonato, group stage. E depende dos outros times, a gente vai fazer o nosso e é isso. Vamos ver o que acontece.
So yeah, we always have like a very good mindset. We always try to get first place. So we are always like playing group stage with a lot of passion. So yeah, we are super happy for these 2 results.
And this year, you guys have added Federal. He hasn't been at PMGC since 2023, but he does have experience at this stage. What has that done for the squad?
Então, vocês agora com o Federal no time, né? Ele estava longe da PMGC desde 2023. O que ele traz para o time, né? A experiência?
Acredito que o Federal, ele tem... O individual dele é muito forte, o poder de fogo dele. E também a tomada de decisão dele na partida. Ele é um jogador que consegue trazer muita segurança para a equipe. Assim como o Lohan também. Mas por uma escolha nossa agora, o Federal está encaixando melhor.
So Federal is a really experienced player. He brings a lot of like confidence for us during the matches and on stage. And Lohan, he's very good as well. But right now we are with Federal and like it's super good. Like they're both really good players.
Well, 2 games in, this team is performing absolutely insane. We already have 1 Brazil team in the Grand Finals. Influence Rage trying to make it too.
Yes, they are. They're pulling out all the stops right here. It's good to hear that from Law as well, you know, yeah. And it happens. Sometimes you got to, you know, switch up the team a little bit. You bring Federal in, an OG in the PUBG Mobile esports scene, and it is definitely working out for them. That's for sure here, Max.
It's just a matter of time before we get back into the Federal era, Hot Jukes. Okay, this is a player that, when it comes to Brazil, the Carrillo, Revo, of course, Mafioso, even though he's benched recently for Alpha 7. But like Federal is usually very close to being named one of the best, if not the best player sometimes for that entire region. So yeah, I think that they found themselves. Influence Rage were looking really solid this game, despite still the circle favoring them a little bit, Niptura. But they made full use of that, and this gets me hyped for Influence Rage can bring to the table for not just this stage, but maybe the entirety of this PMGC season.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this next match in particular. Maybe we'll see. You know what I want to see? I want to see them have to work a little bit more. I want to see those big rotations come through and then see what they've got in store, because they're looking really good so far, Jukes.
Yes, they are, but there's some teams that need to start stepping things up. Virtus Pro, I'm looking at you. We know that they like to land near that Lipovka mansion area. Maybe we get an Eastern Circle on this one. My question is, John, Blake, where do you want the circle to go?
Well, I, for one, would love a circle that's right next to Everest over in the Gatka Fields. I think we haven't seen that one in a while. I think that's definitely where I want to go. No, to be real, though, I feel like a Yaz Fields finish. We're kind of overdue. We've seen a couple of field finishes. Maybe it'd be a bit cruel to have back-to-back ones, but certainly would be interesting. We haven't seen that one in a little bit of a while. That or maybe the top of the Lumberyard Hill down on the southeast.
Yeah, I think Yaz teams are pretty frustrated about that as well, because we really haven't seen a single time where it's gone over there. Not to say that the Yaz teams can't do well off the back of it. I mean, we've seen Thunder Talk been able to transition from the south side against Naya multiple times into a strong position on Erangel. But it is one of those things where, yeah, I think we haven't really seen a circle on that side of it. I personally do enjoy Yaz finishes. They are so unbelievably hectic. I imagine players are quite glad that those aren't coming through all that often, though.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of positivity for them. We'll have to see the plane path cutting out to the northeast side, though, so it does go straight over Yaz and the circle. It's going to pop up very, very shortly. Looking for any hot drops. We do go out to the east, so maybe we're off of that Lumberyard Hill. Keeps a little bit of the military island in, but I'm pretty sure it's not going there, right? 100% can't happen. It could totally happen.
It could still happen. Be a bit of a difficult one to make work, though. You do have troopers down in Milta, which is a good starting point for them, as well as nuclear zone over towards eastern side. Milta Power, 2 strong starts. But for Alliance, again, around farm, it's a strong position to get going from 3rd place. I mean, 29 points. It is very close to number 1 with E-Arena there with 35. Like I said, despite getting quite late in that last game, weren't able to get a huge amount of points on the back of it. You can see here Alliance with a majority of the most limbs in the lobby. Sakura off that 1 game still leading with 11 total.
And that is, yeah, that's, I mean, there's no way that that's getting toppled. Maybe this match, if Alliance do well again, but I think that might stay, well, we'll see. We'll see how long, but for a game more at least. 35 points, 32 points, 29 points. That is a big drop-off, Blankets. It's a double difference there. DRX times 2 doesn't even make the mark against Alliance. And they have really extended over into a top 3 there, which is something that we didn't see in previous groups, right? It was kind of APG and then very, very flat for a long, long while at the start of Group Green. So now in Group Red, maybe we'll be a little bit more definitive on our top 3, but it's still very, very early days. I'm willing for well, I don't have to be willing, but I think things are going to change.
Rondo is the big thing, right? Where it changes so much the dynamic of a lot of our games, purely because we get the Rondo through, teams get a massive game off the back of it, and it makes the leaderboard look a bit weird. So I think for the rest of the day, at least until like match 4, match 5, it is just a lobby playing catch up to that Rondo match, which is what makes things look so odd in terms of our tables throughout the day. I think I prefer to see Rondo like towards the middle of the day, where it's looks a lot more even. It's easier to tell which teams are doing quite well. I think Rondo does create a little bit of a skew right at the beginning of things, but it's always fun to watch. I think it's a fun high octane game, and I think for players, they're quite glad it's the first game of the day, because you know it's your first match, you're very warm, you can give it your absolute all and try and get the most amount possible off the back of it. And I think for E-Arena, obviously that was certainly the case.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Strike while the iron's hot, right? And see if you can get those results. Because of the inherent slight randomness that exists within PUBG Mobile, right? It is a question of converting on opportunity rather than being able to... I mean, everyone has it in their wheelhouse here, right? To have massive, massive games, to get those 20 elim chicken dinners, it's a question of how frequently can you convert on the opportunity to do that? That really starts to distinguish champions. So for Irina, this is great news. And I think especially coming off their performance in the Gauntlet blank, this is something that Irina will be thrilled to have had happen so early.
Silas getting taken down early by Glory here. For Regnum Kaya, I don't think they can afford to keep having these early losses in terms of players. It's not a team that it should be happening to either. I think it's like some aggression to try and get central positioning because they know they need points. It's tough. It's tough to even give advice to them at that point either, because just like if you're a fan of them, you're like, well, slow it down. But if they slow it down too much, then they're not getting enough points at all. If they aren't aggressive enough, if they're too aggressive, then they're suddenly losing players early. I think that they're yet to find that sweet balance, honestly, right now for Regnum Kaya. But you're in groups right now. Yes, you had the Gauntlet, but you already had the Gauntlet to try and find that balance. And that's something that should be acquired coming into your next stage. I don't want to see Regnum Kaya going through to last chance, but even if they do go for the last chance, if they don't make it through in last chance, it is a pretty big shakeup, all things considered, because you had 6 days to figure out the rhythm and you still couldn't do it.
And they're the regional champions as well, right? If they aren't representing in the finals, then that's a pretty big disaster. You're right. It's not fun. It's not fun for them. Yeah, especially with Zedwall's debut season with them, I think it's bad. True Ripper though on our screen, and he's going for one. Oh, he's traded off for a second, and there's no backup really. Jelly can only sit there and watch as he has to turn tail. The survivor to drive the story back to the rest of them, strike fear into their hearts. The Boars not feeling that fear right now, not against ETSH as they try and push on in. 3 players now in the ground floor, not quite connecting, and the spray is huge there coming through from Shiva, the destroyer right now. ETSH now holds the door and a headshot, beautiful. Hop out the window, look for more. ETSH don't have the backup of the Boars players, not rallying towards each other. Doesn't realize there's a player behind him, but has got his teammate now to play against him. ETSH running through the Boars, beautifully found. Shiva looking stylish, but doesn't quite keep his back under control.
Goodness me, what a fight that was between both those teams. Baby there goes down. Now Reverb looking to finish the job off. Sneaks and Reverb still up and kicking. Nade doesn't quite make it into the building.
Shiva's still up on the wall. SnowX and Exo. I found Baby. They have been made to look a bit foolish by the runaround from Shiva. And I mean, Arcred just love sitting in these third-party oversights, right? We saw it from the last game. And easy for Bad Boy. He wants to collect these points. Might be able to do so here. But at the moment, everyone's kind of covered off. Shiva, I mean, I'd be surprised if they can get across for this res. He has to go now. He's just bleeding out. Yeah, Shiva's gone.
Yeah, there wasn't really much help to try and get him back up into position. And this fight has got multiple oversights on it, so it's difficult to make work. Circle over towards that north side around Dip and Mini Dip. Still a lot of teams on our north side yet to make their way in here. It is cramped down towards the south, John.
Absolutely. It's getting quite chock-a-block. Weibo Gaming on this north side, kind of on their lonesome towards the mansion area, towards those open fields. Going a little bit close to Milter, and we're still on maybe for that Lumberyard Hill finish that I talked about at the start. Meanwhile, Boars still tensely held against ETSH. It's not been a pretty fight down there. Let's hop over, though, to the middle of this circle, towards those shelter entrances now. Regnum Kaya holding one of their own. They did lose a player earlier on as well, losing Silas, which is far from favorable, but he can backseat game like no other. The guy has got a big brain on him, so hopefully he'll be able to deliver that information back on over. Arcred on the north side. They sent their third-party tendrils out towards the fight we were looking at before between the Boars and ETSH. They are still holding a nice central area, and they have managed to get that regroup going on that south side. Alliance, who are looking to convert on that big elimination game and looking to keep that points tally going. And it seems that they'll be safe for the time being. E-Arena late to the party on the west, though, and they are just passing school. They'll be pushing in, maybe towards Influence Rage, who are also on that north side. For now, the top 3 teams are kind of out of the thick of it. They can bide their time.
Yeah, I think that for Regnum Kari in particular, it's a frustrating one because this is a very typical position for Regnum Kari as well, John. Not having Silas here is frustrating because you do want multiple sight lines available, especially when people start to crash over towards Shelter too. Not having 4 players there does make your life pretty difficult. I think all 3 of those players, though, are capable of taking a 3v4. It's just you don't really want to have to take a 3v4 in the first place. Alliance, I like this spot. They are sending a player out wide up the hill, though, to try and scout out. I don't really want to let too many players get over towards the Wizard Tower and have an oversight down towards you. But right now should be okay. A little bit quieter. Again, I am really liking the rotations here in Group Red for a lot of our teams.
You're a big fan. You love it. You love it so much. And rightly so. I think that it is certainly interesting, especially early on in a new group, right? To watch those rotational dynamics, to see how teams start to feel each other's positions out and get a feel for just how their pace of their games need to go. We'll see if that continues, because we still do have, well, not quite 3 days, but the majority of our 3 days left to go. And our next circle will, again, reveal more about the rotational proclivities of our circle teams. And it goes all the way up to the northwest. I mean, this is great for Influence Rage, right? It's great for E-Arena, potentially, as well, to hold this out. Twisted Minds, I mean, it would be great if they were all on the Chudo spot, right? In the middle of that zone. They have to make that dash, and Krta are going to try and stop them. That south point for E-Arena, potentially as well, taking shots out their way. But they are going to go for it, and rightly so. No, hang on a minute. They're going to regroup back to the dip on the west.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to hold that. I think that Chudo makes the right decision there, though, on the squad, is that although that position would have been lovely, it was